Okay, then. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. Am I audible? Can you guys hear me? Okay, I have 4 people watching now. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Please tell me I'm audible. Can you guys hear me? And let me just do some settings on my YouTube as well so that I can see your charts properly. Yep, all set now. So, good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the people watching. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope you guys can see me. And I hope that you guys can also see my screen. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening once again. And welcome to a new stream where we are actually going to build a news app from scratch. Right? So, this is uh, basically, I'm trying to create a new playlist called as Build from Scratch. And in that playlist, I'll upload everything, or basically, I'll stream everything that I'm going to create from scratch. So I think that you guys also remember that last time we created a sticky notes app from scratch, right? So I hope you guys practiced it. I hope you guys did it because I also shared the GitHub link of that project. So I hope you guys got the project. Okay, and I hope you guys completed it properly. So I hope it was fun and good. And now, today we are once again back with one more build from scratch, what do you say, tutorial. That is, we're going to create a news app. Okay. So I can see 6 people are watching now. So everyone, can we have some hi in the chat so that I can see that you guys are there? Everyone. Okay. Come on, guys. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Can I see some hi? I can see Preeti now. Good evening, Preeti. Good evening, Bhimrao. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. And today we are creating a news app from scratch. Properly from scratch. No libraries, nothing. But yes, we're going to use one thing that will help us to get all the news in the world, all the news going around the world. And it's all going to be latest news. So if you want, you can create this app. You can make it live so that people can use it. You can use it for like different purposes. It's totally fine. Okay. So then, good evening once again, guys. Good evening once again. So are we ready to start with this, everyone? Good evening, Shai. Good evening. I'm just waiting for few more people to join. So once like around 5 to 8 people join, then we can go ahead and start with our application because it will be around, I think, 1.5 hour long session. We're going to create a good design. We're going to use an API today. Okay, so we're going to use an API. We're going to get all the world news from that API, and we are going to show that news. We're going to display that news in our site, and also we're going to create a search so people can actually search by country, or let's say by, what do you say, by category of the news. Like they want tech related news, or they want politics related news, or they want any topic related news like Microsoft or something like that. So we're also going to do that. Okay, so then guys, let's start everyone. Yes, yes, yes. I'm just gonna wait for like, yeah, for five or for like 5 or 8 people to join, and then we can go ahead and start. Okay, because I don't want anyone to miss anything. Good evening, Priyanka. Good evening, good evening, good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Okay, it's still like a little quick. We have just started it, so let's wait for like till five. What do you say, 7:40, and then we can start. And yes, so till that time, I'll explain you what are we gonna do in this. So basically, our project is gonna like behave something like this. Let me tell you. So there will be a site. A user can come on the site. He can see all the news going around, all the trending topics going around. Okay, and he can click on any particular news and read about that news on the original article. So we are going to redirect the user to the original article. So that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to create a search box, a filtration where user can search like, okay, fine, I need news related to US and US politics. So US politics, and then we're going to display the news related to US politics. They can select India and tech. So we're going to like display news related to, what do you say, technology and from India. So that's what we're going to do. So I hope you guys are excited, everyone. Please tell me. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this particular project because we're going to build everything from scratch, from the basic HTML, CSS, JS, everything. So I hope you guys are excited as much as I am. Okay. So it's already like around 7:38. Let's wait for 2 more minutes till the time, guys. You guys tell me, did you guys practice this sticky notes app? Everyone. Did you guys practice it? Did you guys do something about it? I also shared the GitHub link. I hope you all found it and downloaded it and also practiced it. I hope you guys created it. Everyone? Okay. That's amazing. And for today's project also, I'm just going to use two software, that is VS Code and Google Chrome. That's all. VS Code to code and Chrome basically to just display my output, and that's all. And here you go. I hope you can see I have already created a folder called as news app. So this is our project folder, which is right now completely empty. Now we are the ones who are going to create all the files inside this. Okay. So let's go and let's start. Now we are actually good to start. So guys, let's go and let's start. And anytime, at any point of time, if you don't understand anything, at any point of time, if you're confused, just stop me. I'm always, understand guys, that I'm always reading the chat. The chat is in front of me. I'm always reading it. So at any point of time, if you feel that I'm confused or I'm not understanding what's happening, just ask me. Just write down whatever you want in the chat. I'll see it and I'll reply it to you. And one more thing, guys, there might be few things that you guys don't know. There might be few things that I'm going to use that you guys don't know, but don't worry, I'll still try to explain it. So for some people, it will be completely new. Like for example, today I'm going to use fetch functionality in JavaScript that will help us to fetch some data from an API. Okay, so if you don't know that, no need to worry about that. It will still be understandable. I'll explain you that thing in that way. Don't worry about that. Okay, so then now it's 7:40. Let's go. Let's start. I have done a lot of refreshes. I think around 5 to 6 refreshes till now, right? Okay. So as you can see, I have already opened this news app folder in my VS Code. So let's go. Let's create the basic files that we need first of all. So first of all, I need a file and I'm going to call it index.html. So this will be my HTML file where I'm going to display all my news. Okay. Then I need one more file. I'm going to call it index.css. Again, a file where I'm going to write all the styling for all the elements that I create. And then I need one more file, index.js, where I'm going to write all the functionalities that my project will perform, like search, like fetching the news, all of that stuff. Okay. So I hope we are ready. Let's go. Let's start. So here we go. The basic HTML. Remove all the meta tags. Right now there is no need of this meta tag, so let's remove it. And you guys also come up with a name so that we can rename our project in future. So come up with a name for this. Let me just zoom the font. Let me just increase the font size. And here we go. Let's call it news app for now. Once you come up with some name, I'll definitely change it. Okay. Now let's also link the CSS file. I hope these things are basics. I hope you guys have no problems in understanding these things. So link relation equals style sheet and hyperlink reference is /index.css, and let's also link our JS file. So here we go, script src /index.js. So link with CSS and JS both, and let me just remove the sidebar. Yep. And now then, let's go in CSS file and let's do some basic CSS that we always need. That is, by default, the margin of every element and the padding of every element will be 0, and also box sizing will be border box. Okay, so now then the basic setup is done. Let's run this page. So now I see, if you want, you guys can also use live server in this case. I'm not using live server, so I'm directly running it like this, but it's totally fine. If you want, you can use a live server for this. Totally fine with that. Okay, so let's go on a browser, and here we go, a completely clean blank page. That's what we wanted. And now we are good to go. So guys, see, we're going to do this project in 3 steps. Okay, we are going to do this project in 3 steps. That is, first, we'll create a basic design without any real-time data. Then we'll fetch a real-time data from an API and we'll integrate that in our design. And then finally, we'll create the search. So these are the 3 parts that I'm, dividing my projects in. Okay, first will be the basic design. So first, without any functionality, we'll create the design. Second, we'll go ahead and get the real data from the API and integrate in our site. Third, we'll create the search. So these are the 3 parts that I'm dividing my project in. So let's do them one by one. Okay, Prince Beach, good evening, buddy. Good evening. Hi. How are you, buddy? How are you? It feels great that you're happy to be here. Good evening, Keitki. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Now you guys are joining. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the new joinings. Good evening, guys. Okay, now then, everyone, let's move ahead and let's start with the first part, that is the basic design. Okay, 3 parts. First part is the basic design. Let's go. So the first thing that I'm going to need here is a header in which I'll have my search bar and a name of my app, something like that. Very basic. So let's go. Let's use a header tag for this. You can also use a div if you want, but it's a good semantic. Sir, can you tell me what's an API? I'll tell you. So think of an API like a functionality that basically you can call and get some data from it. That's it. An API is nothing but, the full form is application programming interface. That means it's nothing but a program which you can call and get some data from it. That's the basic definition. Now, if we go in detail, it's much more than that, but I'll definitely discuss about that when we'll have a API session. So maybe by next Saturday or after that, I'm going to have a live stream of how to create an API from scratch as well. So in that case, I will explain you exactly what an API is. But for now, just think of it like a program that is stored somewhere. You can call that program and you can get some output from it. That's all. And don't worry, I'll explain it. I'll explain a little more about it when we actually start using the API. So don't worry about that right now. Okay? Okay, guys, so let's go. Header, let me also give it a class of header. And let's style it. So header, give it a width of 100%. Good evening, Funny Demon. Good evening, buddy. Good evening. How are you? Let's give it a height of around, let's say 80 pixel for now. And let's give it a good background color of light gray. See, guys, right now I'm just giving any color. Don't worry about that. Right now I'm just literally giving any color. So first of all, we're just creating the components. After that, we'll think of good colors and something like that. But for now, just creating the components. That's all. So here we go. You can see a light gray header here. That's fine for now. And now then let's go and inside this. Okay, first of all, I also want to give it a padding. So padding from top bottom, no. From left right, yes, of 50 pixel. Something like that. Okay. Now then inside this, I need, what do you say, a logo. Or you can also have a container inside this. So let's have a container. So class container, or let's give it a class of header container for now. And I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not going to use a lot of great CSS or not a lot of great JavaScript. I'll try to keep it basic and simple so that every one of you can understand it. Good evening, Geetika. Good evening, Lalit. Good evening, guys. Okay, so header container, let's go. Let's style it a little. So header container, let's give it a width of 100% and a height of 80 pixel as well. And a background color of red just for now. So now if our child is having a height, no need to give the parent any height. So we can simply remove that property. It will save us a line of code. That's all. Because if our child is having a height, the parent's height will depend on that. Because by default now the parent's height is auto. So you can see we have a container here. Now inside this, I need to create a logo. So div, give it a class of logo. And for now, my logo is nothing but a simple text. That's all. You guys can use a good image. You guys can suggest me some good name so that I can use it. So let me just call it news app for now. That's all. Okay. So a simple div, inside that a simple p, and calling it news app. Let's go now. So dot logo. For now, I'm going to give you a width of, let's say, 10%. A height of around same 80 pixel, that is parent, and a background color of yellow just for now. Don't worry, guys. So you can see the logo there. Now let's work on the font. So font size of 30 pixel. Font family of one of the basic fonts available, that is CJUI. Okay, very basic font, nothing great. All set. Let's make it a little bold. So for that, font weight, bold. And now since am I using a p tag there, so I can go to head, what do you say, my logo, and I can say display of flex, justify content center, and align items center, which will move my p or my text into the center of the div. Here we go. Perfectly in center, and that's fine for now. Nothing great, all set, all cool. Okay. I hope it is clear, everyone. Very basic CSS. Now, after this logo, I also want to create one more div, and I'm going to call it my, let's say, search operations, because here I'm going to have all my search boxes that I need. So let's call it search OP or search ops, that is search operations. Okay. Good evening, Jay. Good evening, buddy. Hi, how are you? So search ops, let's style it. Dot search ops. Let's give it a width of around, let's say 40%. A height same as parent, that is 80 pixel. And for now, simply a background color of light green. See guys, don't worry about these colors. Don't worry about these colors at all. I'm just using any random color that comes in my mind. Okay. Good evening, Samad buddy. How are you? By which property header container goes center? Header container, because I've just given padding. In this case, I didn't try to move it in center. I have just given left padding and right padding to this particular gray area. That is my header. Just given padding left and padding right. That's all. But yeah, if you want to move it in center, you can simply use flexing. So just do display flex, justify content center, align item center on the header, and the container will come in center. But in this case, I'm not doing that. In this case, I simply gave padding left and padding right. That's all. Okay. Now, you can see because these are block elements, they are going one below each other. I don't want that. I want this yellow element and this green element side by side. So for that, we'll go to the header container, because in that the header container only, see, inside the header container we have this logo, we have the search ops. Both of them are child of header container. So simply they are going one below each other because they are divs, they are block elements. When and why I subscribe to your channel? Not a problem, Homendra. Don't worry. If you're subscribed, that will be great because you're going to see a lot of things. You're going to learn a lot of things from us. Okay, fine. So now then let's go to header container. Just give it a display of flex so that things come side by side like this. And now justify content space between, not space around, space between, so that there's a gap between them. So my logo is at this end and my search ops is at this end. Okay. Now then, let's go and let's create our input fields inside it, where we'll have our search boxes. And I think I can make it a little bigger. So let's make it a little bigger. Okay, let's make it a little bigger here. So for that, let's go to CSS and let's say search ops. I want it to be 50%. Yeah, this much will be enough. Because in this, I'm going to have three things. One input field for country, one input field for the category that you want to search, tech or politics or whatever it is, and a simple button of search. These are the three things that I want. So that's why I need a big field here, like a big area. Okay. Now then, let's create all the three things there quickly. So first, I need an input box. Okay. Give it a class of, let's say, INP, something like that. A placeholder of enter country, something like that. Or we can also give a select box. Like we can give a select box of few countries. That will be more better, right, everyone? Because it is countries, let's not give an option to the user to write it, because they might make a spelling mistake, right? And it will be also like, what do you say, a lot of work. They have to remember the spelling, they have to write the country name. So instead of that, do one thing. Just give a select box of few countries. But yeah, once you're working on it, you can like make it a big list. So for now, let's pass a select. Give it a class of INP only. And now inside this, I'm going to have few options. So option number one will be nothing but select country, which will have a blank value. That means if you select country, there will be no value. It will be blank. Because sometimes people might select the select country option and they might submit it. In that case, no value will go. That means it will be nothing. Now after that, let's add few countries. So let's add India for now. See guys, for this project purpose only, I'm adding only 4 to 5 countries, but you can actually enter all the countries in the world. It's totally up to you. You can get the list and the country codes and add all that. In this case, see what I'm doing. I'm simply adding country name and country code in the value. So if someone will select India, the value that will go for that will be IN, like that. Okay, so let's say United, or let's simply write USA for now. Okay, and the value that will go for this will be US. And let's add one more, that is Australia. So I'm only adding 3 for now, but you can add as much as you can. So value AUS. Okay, so a simple select box with select country, India, USA and Australia. I'm just giving 3 countries for example, but you can add all the countries that exist. Okay, with proper country codes. If you just go on internet, search for countries with country codes, you'll get the list of all the countries with country codes and you can just put it there. Okay, now The next one is the category. We should also give a select box for category actually. We should not let the user write category because they might make spelling mistake in writing politics, in writing technology, in writing something else. So let's also give category for that. Let's also give selection actually. So let's also give select for category instead of letting the user write it. Okay. Good evening, Blade. Good evening, buddy. How are you? Okay. So one more select for categories. So again, first option will be select the category that you want to search for. And yes, the value for this will be blank. Sir, you make user type our country name so he get our country name in selection options. Okay, like they can just start writing and it will select. That feature already works in select. That feature actually by default works in select. You can select any country and start writing your name. It will automatically go to that particular country. It will automatically go to that particular value. That's a default thing in select. So no need to worry about that. Just click on the select box, start writing whatever you want, and it will by default go to that particular value. That's the best part about select boxes. It's a default feature. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, again for select category, value blank. And let's add few categories for now, but you can add as many categories as you want, guys. It's totally up to you. Like for example, I say politics, and here I go. I write politics. Then let's say one more option that is, let's say business, something like that. And here I'm gonna go and write value. I hope the spelling is correct of business. I don't know. Business. Let's also add one more option of technology. Again, guys, you can add as many options as you want. It's totally up to you. Value technology. Okay. So two simple select fields. One is select country, one is select category. Okay. Now let's style them quickly. Let's also create the button. And I think I also forgot to give it a class of INP. Okay, now then the button, and let's just simply create a button of fetch news or get news, whatever you want to call it. Get news, fetch news, totally up to you. Give it one more class so that we can style it. So let me call it BTN. Okay. Now then, one select field for country, one select field for category, and a get news button. Let's style them quickly. So you can see I have given INP class to these select fields and a BTN class for this button so that I can select them and style them. So let's go. So first, let's style those select fields. So for that, INP. Let's give it. So let's give it a width of around 30% and a height of around 50 or maybe 40 pixels, something like that. Let's see. Yep, this much is fine, right? Not looking bad. Kind of fine. And also give this search ops a little padding. So padding from top and bottom 0 pixel, from left and right again 30 pixel. Something like this. Okay. And now this ops also give it a display of flex. Okay. Fine. Don't worry about that button. We'll style it. But for now, justify content center, align items center. Here we go. Now we'll give some gaps and everything. Don't worry about that. Okay. Now let's also increase. I think I should increase the width now, like around to 35%. Yep, this much is fine. Give it a good font size of 18 pixel. Let's see. Too much, actually, too much. Let's give it 17 pixels. Yep, this is fine. Let's give it a border radius of around 10 pixel and border of 1 pixel solid gray. Okay, cool. And also give it a text indent of 10 pixels so that the text will be a little forward from the border, like that. And now let's also style the button quickly. So dot btn will have a width of I'm not need to give it a width, we can actually give it a padding. So let's go and give padding. So padding from top bottom 10 pixel, from left right 30 pixel. Let's see. Looks fine. Looks fine. Now let's give it some gaps. So for that, go to search ops and give column gap of around 2%. Yep, good gap. That's fine. Now then, let's remove all the colors, and then finally we'll come to this again and we'll style it a little bit more. There's buttons and everything. So remove all the colors now. Remove the light green, remove the yellow, remove the red, and keep the light gray. We'll need it. And now let's see. And here we go. We have something like this, which is not looking very great still, but don't worry, we'll make it look like that. So now let's right click on this and let's change this gray color to a little more lighter gray. So I don't need this gray, I need a little more lighter gray, like, yeah, kind of this. Let's see if gray works, otherwise we'll use something else. I think gray is looking good. This lighter gray is looking good. So take this color. Okay, all set. Now, actually now I should give it a light gray color to this borders. Yep, now it looks much more better. And yes, I don't need this outline. See, when I select input field, it gives me this outline. I don't like that. So let's go and let's say outline none for now. Now we won't have that. Yep, that's good. Now let's style this button a little more. Let's give it some good color. So for that, okay, first of all, text transform uppercase, font weight bold, and let's see. Yep, kind of fine. And now a little border radius of 10 pixel as well to the button. And what background color we should give? First of all, let's give it red. Don't worry about that, guys. Just give red. And now right click on it and select a good color. Also, give a color of white. So first of all, I give like just any color, and then I go ahead, right click, inspect, and select some good color as I wish. You can also find like some color combination on internet and use that color. But for now, what color we should go for? Should we go for green? Okay, I think in the last page also we go for green, right? Let's go for a blue color in this. Yep, this is fine. Let's take this one. And here we go. Now you can see there are some little borders around it. We don't need that border, so border none. And here we go. Now I think I should increase a little bit of padding. Let's go and make it 12 from top and bottom. Okay, all set. So guys, are we clear with the first part? Not very great, but not a problem. Still cool, not looking bad at all. Right, everyone? Fine, looks good, looks clean at least. Everyone, all set? Header part done. So we have a news app. We can change it with an image or some other good looking text. And for our working part, we have select country, we have select category, and a get news button. So these are the three things that I have right now. Okay, so now then let's move ahead, and don't worry, we'll also do some styling. But before that, let's go to this section where first of all we'll create a dummy news card. So first of all, we have to create a dummy news card. After that, we'll move ahead and create everything. So first of all, let's go ahead and create a dummy news card, a single card. Yes, cursor pointer. Yes, good idea. Let's also give it a cursor pointer. So if we are doing that much, let's also give it a hover then, right? So button hover. Now something like that only I want to give. And yes, before that, let me also give it a transition so that when I hover on the button, the color change will take a little time. It will not happen like in a click. So button hover, let's select some color for that as well. So yep. So on hover, I need to make it a little darker. So I will go just here like this and take this one. So background color, this one, please. And let's see. So here we go, guys. Can you see that, everyone? So now when I hover, the color look like this, and that's fine. All set, all good, no problem at all. Okay, fine. Don't worry, this is not the final color. Maybe you should add border or outline in focus in select and button. Yes, we can do all that, not a problem at all. Add border outline in focus and in select button. We should, like, I'm not planning it for focus. Okay, for this focus, yes, we're going to do that. What I'm going to do here is, let's do it. So percent is good or rem in CSS. See, percent is like the core unit. Rem is like you decide what measurement you want for that, right? You can decide it. So REM is like your custom measurement. Percent is like a core unit. So everything at the end will be percentage only or pixel, right? So percent is like a core unit. REM is like your custom. You can decide what measurement that REM should follow, right, Preeti? So it's not about good. It's about what you feel like doing at a particular time or what is better for what. Percent is also amazing, and if you use REM, you're basically giving your custom measurement somewhere like that. So actually, there is no comparison between them. It's not like what is good. It's like both are useful in some ways. Okay. Okay, now then, yeah, as Homendra Patil suggested that we should add a border or outline on focus in select and button. Why not? We can do that. Let's add it in the select. I was actually feeling it for select. So guys, let's do it for select. So if I perform a focus on INP, what I want to do is, in this case, I want to give it a box shadow of 0, 0, 3 pixel, light blue, something like that. And also give it a transition of 0.4 seconds. Now let's see if it is working. So if you can you guys see that shadow, everyone? A little shadow, but it's very small. So let's make it a little big, like around 5 pixel. And here we go. So little shadow so that it will like give a feeling of that it's selected. You can make it a little bit like a little more bigger if you want. I feel 5 pixel is too small. Let's give it 8. And yeah, and you can do whatever you want for this. Yeah, that's fine. A good looking blue shadow that will highlight that this particular thing is focused or selected. Okay, everyone, all set, guys? So yeah, that's it. We are done with the header, and now let's move. And don't worry, this is not the final thing. We are also going to update few more things in the header, but let's create all the sections so that we can come back and change the header a little more. Okay, now then, let's go ahead and let's create a dummy news card here. Okay, let's go. So guys, is the header part understood, everyone? Please tell me. Okay, so header part is done. Now I'll just go after the header and write news part after that. Something like this. Okay, now let's go create a div, or maybe a section will be better depending on the semantics. Section, give it a class of news, and let's go. So I also am going to give comments here as well. CSS for news. Guys, whenever you code, give good comments. Good comments are always helpful, so that even if you come after, like, let's say 2 months, 3 months and see your code, you can still understand what you have written and for what purpose. So always do some basic commenting in your project. So CSS for news section. I'm just dividing my code properly. That's all. Now then, dot news. I'm going to give you a width of 100% and a padding of 50 pixel all around. So left, right, top, bottom, from everywhere you'll have 50 pixel padding. And for now, a background color of let's say light gray. My favorite color always to give. Okay, fine, light gray. You can see it here. And see, I'm not giving it any height. I'm only giving it padding. I'm not giving it any height. That means the height of this element will depend upon the number of elements I add inside it. The height of this news section will depend upon the children's I add inside it. So no need to worry about the height in this case. So height will be by default auto. That means if I start adding elements, the height will start to grow. So yep, that's cool. That's set. Now then, let's create a dummy news card. So div, give it a class of news underscore card, something like that. And here we go. Let's go and let's style it. So dot news underscore card will have a width of around 45%. I'm thinking, should I put 3 cards in one line? I think we should put 3 cards in one line. That will be much more better. Yeah, let's try to put 3 cards first. So 30%, 30%, height of for now 400 pixel, and background color of red. Just for now, guys, don't worry. Just for now, it is just for now. Here we go. Let's give it 32. Yep, this much is fine. 32. And we don't need this much height, so I think 300 will be enough height. Yep, something like that. Or maybe Image 3. Think we should go for, yeah, 3. Fine, let's try depending on the image, and the content will decide it. Don't worry about that. And guys, see, for now let's download a dummy image from anywhere. So why I'm going to Gmail, I need to go to Google. Let's download a dummy image, guys, just a dummy image. So let's search for like pollution, something like that. Let's download a dummy image from Google and let's use it. So let's say this one. It's too big actually. Yep, this is fine. Right click, save image as, and let's store it in our project. So it's on desktop, news app. Let's call it dummy_img, something like that. And that's it. Now then, let's go and let's start putting things. So see, my style will be, I want to put image on one side and then title and content, title and some part of the content on the other side. This is what I want. Okay. So see, inside this, the first thing that I want is an image. Okay, to which I'm going to give a class of, let's say, card_image. Okay, and src. For now, let's just give that dummy image, which might be a little bigger. It's obviously bigger. Let's give it a height and width. So let's go. Or I'm feeling we should actually create a div before this. Okay, let's not do this. Let's create a div for it so that we can adjust it properly, even more properly. So create a div, call it news_img. Okay. First of all, let's give it some height and width. So dot news_img. Height exactly same as parent, that is 300 pixel, and width of around 30% or maybe 40%, something like that. And background color of yellow. Here we go. In this area, I want to display my image. Okay, that's fine if image is bigger or smaller, we'll just display half part of the image. That's totally fine. Because once the person clicks on view article, he will go on the real page of the article and there they can see the complete image. So for now, we can just display a part of image and that will still be fine. Or I'm just now planning, okay, let's see. We'll decide it. We can change it at any point of time. For now, let's keep it like this. Now inside this, I need an image and src of dummy image, which is obviously bigger, like this. So first of all, let's go and let's say dot news_img, and I want to work on the image tag inside it, the image element, and I want to give it a height of 100%. That means exactly same as the parent, like this, but the width is still going bigger. So please, a question, will the app be updating news automatically, or it will be done by admin? It will update it automatically because we are not the ones taking care of the news. The news is coming from an API. So if it updates there, it will also update here. Is it clear, Blade? So every time you refresh, there might be a new news. Depending, if you open it tomorrow, there might be new news. If you open it after 1 month, there might be a new news. Is it clear, Blade? So it will be a live news app actually. If you open it after 5 days, there might be a completely new news. Okay, fine. And let's also give this news img overflow of hidden. So something like this is fine. Okay, all set, all cool, no need to worry about this. And okay, we are using API, got it. Yeah, yes, Atanda, I know, buddy, I know you. Okay, and now I'm just thinking of okay, fine, let's keep it for now. Now after this image div, I need one more div in which I'm going to call as news_detail, in which I'm going to display all the title and all the stuff. So news detail, that's fine. Let's go. Dot news_detail. So the remaining width is how much? I have given a width of 40% to news img. So what is the remaining width? It's 60%. Height exactly same as 300 pixel. And a background color of, let's say, around, what should we give? For now, let's give it red, or we have already given red. Let's give it blue for now, just to see it. Okay, we have given overflow hidden. No, let me just check. We have given it to news img. Okay, it might be down there. Let's give flex to news card and let's see if it is coming. So display of flex. Oh, width 60%, height. Is there a spelling mistake somewhere, guys? Am I making a mistake somewhere? Okay, yeah. Details and detail. That's what I was thinking. Here I called it details and here I called it only details. So, yep, details and details. Make it same everywhere. And here we go. You have the blue div. Yep. No, flex was not the issue. First, the name was the issue. Because see, even without flex, we should have seen it here, right? Normal div below div. So yeah, display flex is moving now like this, but before that also we should have seen it. And the problem was the spelling. Here it was details, and here I wrote it only detail. So that was the problem. Okay. Now we have it, and I'm going to give it a little padding of around 20 pixel. And now inside this, I'm going to write all my content. So let's go. So first, I'm going to need an H1 to which I'll write some title. So let's write pollution alert in some cities, something like that. A title, a news title. So see, pollution alert in some cities. And after this, I need a little description or maybe article date or something like that. So a simple P in which, okay, let me not make it yellow, guys. Let me not make it blue. Let me make it yellow so that at least you can see what I'm writing. So here we go. You can see what I'm writing at least. Now a P tag which we'll use for displaying the date or the author of the article, right? We should also display the author. So let's in this case, let me take one person from you. Let's say we take Lalit Kumar. So Lalit Kumar. Okay, something like that. We can also display date. Don't worry. Once the data comes, we'll decide what to display. For now, fine. Author name Lalit Kumar like that. And after that, I'll have one more P tag in which I'll have my content, some dummy content that I'm going to display. Okay, like this. And after that, I'm going to have my button. So don't worry, guys. I'll style all of it. First of all, I'm just arranging the content. So read full article. Here we go. Now let's go and let's properly arrange it, right? Not looking good at all. So first of all, let's go here. Give it a font family of Cjo UI, something like that. Here we go. Already started looking good, right? That's fine. Now let's also go to the button and give it a class of btn. Same as the top button, like that. Now let's also do one more thing. That is, let's also not give it a fixed height. Or, okay, we can do that actually. But we should not display this much content. So let's see, either we can make the height auto or we can just cut some content. So we'll display only 3 to 4 lines. That's all. Nothing more than that. Let's decide that. We'll display only this much. Okay. Now let's create some gaps between all of it. Okay. So for that, first of all, give it a display of flex so that all the content inside it will go like this. Obviously, we don't want it like this. So by default, the direction is row. That's why they are getting arranged horizontally. So we simply need what? Flex direction column. Again, back like normal. And now we're going to give a row gap of around 10 pixel to all of them. Here we go, like that. And also align items to center. Not center actually. Flex start. Much more better. Okay. So all set, guys. One article will look like this. And now let's go ahead and remove the yellow. Remove the yellow. Remove the red. Remove the light gray from behind it. And it will look something like this. Now it is not looking exactly what I wanted, but for that I need to give it a little shadow and stuff. So let's do that as well. So let's go and we need to go to the news. Where is news card? Yeah, news is the full div, news card, yes. To that, I'm going to give a box shadow of around, what do you say, 0, 0, 2 pixel. gray, something like that. See, something like this. A little more you can give, maybe around 5 pixel. Okay, and now I'm also gonna give it a border radius. So border radius of 10 pixel and overflow hidden, so that if anything is going outside the border a little bit, that will be hidden like this. And let's say shadow will be light gray. That gray is too much. Yep, something like this. Gray was like too much. So light gray looks clean, looks fine. And now I was also thinking of giving it a little padding. So I am thinking to give it a little padding of 20 pixels. Let's see how it is looking. Not that great, right? Actually, it will look great if I go ahead and remove the fixed height. Remove the fixed height, guys. Now let the height depend on the children. Remove the fixed height. Remove, okay, let's keep this image height as only. Just keep the image height, that's all. Remove this one. Let it depend on the content. Yep, like that. See, much more better, right, everyone? Padding from all around, like this. Is it clear, everyone? So one new section. Now don't worry, we can make it much more better. First of all, fine, one article. But we can make it much more better depending on the content that I want to create. Is it cleared? Now I can increase the column gap as well, like row gap, sorry. Let's make it 20 pixel. Yep, like that. And also, let's give this Lalit Kumar a class of author. And let's give this a class of content. So author and content to both of this so that I can style it. So let's go. Author, I want you to have a color of gray and a font style of italic, because authors are like that only, right? See, italic and gray, so it looks like a proper author thing, right, everyone? And then after that, what we can do is to the content also dot content. Don't worry, guys, we can style it at any point. First of all, let's create some dummy things. Content, I also want to change your color to, let's say, gray, but I don't actually want gray. Right click, inspect. I need a little different color, a little darker gray, like this much. Not exactly black, but a little darker gray, like this. And here we go. So one news article will look like this, guys. Right? Good enough. Not looking bad. Fine. Looks fine. Looks clean. So guys, all set, all cleared with this? Please tell me. And I think that 20 pixel is too much actually. Let's give it 15. Yep, this much is fine. All set, guys. So a header, a good looking header. Don't worry, you can also make it a little more better, just a little more styling. But for now, we're keeping it simple. So styling is done of the header and one article is created. All set. Now can we move ahead to actually start writing JavaScript and getting real news? So one dummy news card is created. Now, based on this, we're going to get data from an API and we're going to generate these cards using a loop. We are not going to write any card in HTML, just like we have written here, right? We are going to not write it like this. We are actually going to generate it using a loop in JavaScript because we might have a lot of news coming. Okay, so let's go and let's start. But before that, let me just copy it a few times because I want to see how I want it to look if I have 3 cards. So let's just go ahead and copy one news card. Okay, again I forgot news card, right? Yeah, copy one news card, guys. Copy one news card and paste it 2 times because I just want to see how does it look if I have 3 cards. Do I have to do any CSS changes? Okay, one and one more. See, so right now it goes like this. So I obviously need some changes, right? Right now it is going like this. So let's go to the main news section, to the parent of news card and give it a display of flex. We'll go like this now. Give it a flex wrap so that any other news will come down. Okay, and give it a column gap. So column gap of around 2%. Not 2 actually. It will be around 1.4%. The calculation is, see, each card is having a width of 32%. So I have 3 cards in one line. So they are in total taking 96, right? So only 4% is left. Now in that 4% I want 2 gaps. So actually, yes, I was correct. 2% is correct. Yes. So we'll have a gap of 2% like this between them. Okay. And the other cards will come down. So this is what I wanted. And also I'm going to give a row gap. So row gap. Okay, I forgot the semicolon on top. Okay. So row gap, basically once the news article comes here at the bottom as well. So for that I'm giving row gap of 30 pixel. So the cards that are below this will also have gaps in between. I think 30 pixel is too much. Let's give it 25 pixel. Yeah. So the cards that will come below this, they will just have a little gap between them. Now you can remove those cards. We don't need them. We just wanted them to just see what kind of styling I want to apply. You can remove them. Keep one so that we can refer this when we are generating cards using JavaScript. Now the second part of the project starts. So first part is done, that was designing. Now guys, the second part start, that is getting the data and integrating it here. Third part will be searching. Okay, so wait till last if you want to see everything. Okay, so guys, first part cleared, everyone. Designing done, and I hope it is looking clean. Not very amazing, but I think it's clean and fine. Not very bad as well, right? So now let's go and let's start getting the data. And now first of all, let me introduce you to the site from where I'm going to get my data. So guys, there is a site called as News API. Okay, so there's a site called as newsapi.org. If you just search for it, you'll get it. See, this is the site, newsapi.org. Okay, so what you have to do is you just have to go here and sign in. It's completely free. It has pricing, but only if you want to go for a beyond, I think it gives you 1,000 requests for free every month. I think last time I read that it was giving 1,000 requests for free in a month. But if you want to go beyond 1,000 requests, then you have to pay. That's what it is. But for now, we're just using it for educational purpose, and I'm not going to even use it for 1,000 requests, something like that. So for me, it's fine. It's free. So for testing purpose, it's free. But if you want to go beyond 1,000 requests, if you are planning to launch your site or app that a lot of people will use, then you definitely have to pay, because you're also earning from your app, right? And you really want to go beyond 1,000 requests, because if you have 2,000 users and they all access your app, you're definitely going beyond 1,000 requests. So for us, it's free for now for testing purpose. So just go on this site, guys. See, just go on this site, okay, and just create an account, create a free account, and then you'll have this button of get API key. Now, first of all, let me just tell you what an API key is, so that you're not confused. So API key is a way of authenticating you. Okay, like it is not going to allow anyone to come and get the news. It is not going to allow anyone to send request and get the news. So that's why for every logged in user, it gives the API key. So while sending the request, also send me the API key, so that I can authenticate first you're a valid user, and then only I'll send you the data back. So if you don't send the API key while requesting for the news to this particular site, basically you're a fraud and it will never give you news. That's why sign in. Only after sign in you get an API key, which is like a key, which is like a password actually, which you need to send while sending every request. If you send it with the request, it identifies that you are a valid user and then sends you a proper response. All set, guys? So that's why I need an API key. Now I'll show you my API key, but please don't use it, because after 1,000 requests it will stop. So if you guys use it, it will stop. So it will be better if you guys create your own account and get your own API key. So just click on this get API key and see, here we have the API key. Okay, here we have the API key. But don't worry about this. Now see, we'll come to that. But here we go. Now these are the things that you can do. Let me just zoom this page for you. Okay, they have stopped it. Amazing. Fine. So now see, guys, here they have all the examples. Okay, what's happening here? Okay. So now see, here they have all the examples of what you can do. So like this, all articles mentioning Apple from yesterday, sorted by popular publisher. So you have different kind of things that you can do. All articles about Tesla from the last month, sorted by recent first. So if you want, you can come here and read how you can properly call it. For now, what I want to use is this one. Top business headlines in US right now, in which you have two things. Let me just copy this URL. So see, guys, this is the URL that you have to call. This is the URL where you have to request to get the data. This is the URL where you have to request to get the data. So I'm interested in this kind of URL where I can pass two things. See, let me just paste here. See everyone. So first the domain https newsapi.org v2 top headlines, that's fine. Then I can specify country and then I can also specify category. This is what I want because in my site I have only two filters, country and category. But you can see here you actually have a lot of ways. So you can get it based on country and category. You can get it based on a particular thing, like you want to get news related Tesla. So you can have that Q equals Tesla. So I will actually tell you to come here and check out this site. For now, for the project purpose, I'm only using one of it, that is, sorry, this one, this, which has country and category. But you can go for anything. See here, top headlines from TechCrunch. So here you have sources from a particular news source. See, all articles published by Wall Street Journal. So for that, you can specify a particular site, facebook.com. So all the articles published by facebook.com will also come. So I would suggest you to come here and check once. Okay. For now, I'm using this one, which includes top headlines for a particular country. So I can specify country. I have copied this, so I can show you here. I can specify country. I can specify category. And here you go. See, my API key is also specified. So you have to only pass three things. Country, from which country you want the news from. Category, what category of news you want, tech related news, business related news, anything. And API key, that is basically your authentication. So this is the URL that you have to call. That means if you call this URL, you are sending the request to the news API server that please give me the news related to this. It will check the API key to confirm if you're a valid user. If it confirms that you're a valid user, then it will take these two things. Okay, what country you're specifying, what category you're specifying. Depending on that, it will prepare the news for you and send you the data back. Once you get the data, you can use it and do whatever you want. Understood, guys? Now what I'm going to teach you is how to call this, how to send a request to a particular thing to get to a particular endpoint or to a particular API to get our data. Okay, that's what I'm going to teach, how to use JavaScript to actually send a request to an API to get a response. Cleared, everyone? Should we start, guys? Everyone, see now, for people who know a little bit of JavaScript, for them it will be fine. And I'm actually considering that you guys know a little bit of JavaScript, and that will be fine. You can easily understand it. For all the people, for some people it might be a little tough. I know that because a lot of people are like from scratch here. They don't know anything like JavaScript or CSS. So for them it might be a little tricky. But once you understand JS fundamentals, this will become much more easier. And don't worry, I'm also coming up with some JS fundamental live streams in future. One live stream for complete JS fundamentals. One live stream for complete CSS fundamentals. Right? CSS basics, JS basics. So you can also attend that and learn the basics. But for now, let's directly do it. So guys, we're going to use this URL. Okay. Well, I'm deleting it. Let's keep it commented. Now then, let's go in JS and let's see what to write to actually get this data. Are we ready, guys? Everyone? Can we move ahead? Okay. So now the function that JavaScript gives you to actually call an API to get data is a function called as fetch. So you write fetch, and inside this fetch, you mention your URL. So in this case, you're simply going to get this URL and mention it here. And now let's say, see now this fetch, I'm writing it directly in my JS page. That means this fetch will directly work. So this will fetch all my initial news. This will fetch all my initial news. So in this case, I just actually want to mention IN. That means I'm in India currently, so just give me a news of IN in this case. And let's say category, you can say, yeah, business will be fine. So by default, let's say I'm loading business news related to India. Get me all the business news for India. Is it clear, everyone? That's what I'm mentioning right now. So by default, I'm going to call this endpoint. So call this endpoint. I'm passing India as my country and category business. So this will give me all the news of business in India. So fetch and just pass the URL. And then after that, and it's a GET request, guys. Now don't worry. Once I take a proper how to build an API from scratch, so for all the people who don't know what is this GET post, they will understand that. But for now, the project purpose, let's use it. Okay. So now, once I call this, and if it works, see, now there are two things that can happen. Once I call this URL using my fetch, there are two things that can happen. Either it is successful and getting the data, or it is unsuccessful and giving some error. Okay, so we have two functionalities to handle them. Okay, simply two functionalities. So one is dot then function and one is dot catch. So if it is working perfectly fine, this function will be called. If it is giving some error, this function will be called. I'm just using arrow functions here, guys. You can also use normal functions like this. You can also use your normal function like this here. It's totally fine. It's just to keep it simple, I'm using arrow functions. So what is happening now, if this fetch is successful, dot then, like, okay, if fetch is successful, then what? If it is not, then catch will be called and it will call this function. Okay, now if it is successful, your response will come as a parameter to this function. And then let me just print this response, console.log response, like that. Okay, and if it is unsuccessful, the error will be returned in this function, and you can just print it, console.log the error. That's it. So fetch, call this URL, call this API endpoint, and if it is successful, if you're getting the data, fine, call this function, and whatever response that API is sending you, it will be available in this particular parameter, and you can print it, or you can do anything. Don't worry, I'll talk about that. And if it is not giving data, if it is giving some error, there is some problem with the internet or with security or something like that, then go for catch, get the error whatever server is giving us, and print the error so that we can see what mistake we are making here. Is it clear, everyone? Guys, now let's see, are we printing error or are we printing response? Let's do that. Let's see. Open our console because we are logging it on console. Refresh the page, and here we go. You can see that we get a proper response. See that, everyone? We are getting a proper response, and it is sending us a lot of things actually. It is sending us a lot of things. Body used, headers, okay, status. It is okay. Now, is there some issue? Let's see. I don't think, no, there is no issue actually. It is working. It is working. Are we sure? It is giving the response properly. The API key is correct. I think it is working. No need to worry about that. Maybe. Let's see. When we fetch the data, it is giving us a body, so I think it might be working, but let's see. But now see, right now, whatever response we got, this is of no use. For us, this is of no use. Understand the point? For us, this is actually of no use right now. We need that data. So it is hidden something here. It is hidden in this body. The data is hidden in this body. And I need to extract my data. Can we use any name instead of response? Or yes, yes, yes. That's a parameter. This is simply a parameter. You can use any name. We just use proper names. Like, okay, fine. If it is giving error, let's use error. If it is giving response, let's use response. It's totally up to you. Whatever you want to use, you can use as your name. It's totally fine, Lalit. Now see, guys, the response that it is giving, it is very crude. We cannot understand it properly, right? It is giving status, body. Our data that we need is actually inside body. And I need to learn how to extract it from that body. And to extract it, we have a simple function. So see, this is the response that you got. This is the response that you got from there, but this response is like a crude response. We need to extract our data from it. And for that, what we are going to do is, we are simply going to say return response, and there is a function called as JSON, and this will give us the response. This will give us the data. So from that response, the response that we are giving, I'm calling this JSON function. This JSON function will extract that data from me and give it to me as a JS object. And now, when you return this, you have to add one more dot then. Because that response.json also gives you like, okay, fine, I'm giving you data back, now write a function for it. So now, see guys, it is basically a concept of promises. So for the people who know this, it's fine. For the people who don't know, don't worry. In a JavaScript fundamental in future, I'll cover all this. So don't worry about that. Okay, for all the people who know JS, this might be very easy. Okay, so now this response.json will again like gives us a function that, okay, fine, write a function for it. What if, fine, if this response.json is giving you the data, then what? Then again, I'll get my data here. And now console.log the actual data. That's all. Now let's see if it is working, guys. Everyone, let's see if it is working. Okay, no, that is not working. Course not allowed, request from the browser not allowed on developer plan. Okay, there's some issue. Do I need to change my plan here? It is telling me that from browser, it is not allowed. You can show the API response in the network tab of Chrome so others can understand what is returning. Yes, yes, I want to show that. But the problem is right now it is not giving me because of my plan. That's very strange. Okay, let's see. Can I change my plan somewhere? Can I change my plan somewhere? Hmm. Because it used to allow, I have used it in the browser. Now it is telling me request from the browser not allowed on the developer plan except from localhost. So I think now I need to run it from a live server. Yes, I need to run it from a live server. Yes, because it is telling me that only except from localhost. That means if I run it using a local server, it might work. Okay, then let's run it using a live server. So I need to install that extension quickly. Let's go. Let me just install the live server extension, guys. So basically, it is telling you to use a local server. Okay, and Homendra, about your thing, buddy. It's the thing is, I'm just trying to keep it basic because a lot of people don't even know JavaScript, all that network tab. So how the request is going, response is coming, that will become very confusing for them. So once we do JS fundamentals for them, it will be understandable. For now, it is like a project session for all the people who know JS and for all the people who are learning JS. So this is much more actually understandable. If I show them that to the people who are like very new, they will become like very confused. So at least they will understand the code. That network tab will be very confusing for all the new like beginners. Okay, so guys, let's install a local server called as live server. Let me install it. Okay, that's cool, it is installed. Now do I need to reload my VS code as well because I normally don't use it? So okay, let's do go live, allow access. Okay, now the same site is running through a server. Now let's see if we're getting the data. And here we go. Now we get the data. So basically, it's just what News API is telling us is I am not gonna allow my API to be used by a normal site. Either it should be a proper site with a domain, with a proper live site, or a site that is locally running. So at least use a local server to run your site. Okay. So this normal browser site will not work. So see guys, for all the people who don't know about live server, what I did is I simply go in the extension tab, install an extension called as live server. This basically creates a small server in your PC for your particular site. A simple local server, not a server that will host your site to all the people in the world. Just it gives the server functionalities to your project. So just install this, and then to run your project, see here we have a button. Here there was a button, right? Go live. So you can just click on that go live. See, now I'm closing it. Now see here, once you install live server, you'll have this button, go live. Just click on this go live and the project will go live. See, I click on go live and here we go. It is up and running. And now if you see, we are getting the data. See here, object, and all the articles are inside it. Is it clear, guys? Everyone? All set? Please tell me. So basically newsapi.org was not helping us in that case. It is telling us either use a local server or a proper live website. So in this case, we are just using a local server. So just install a live server in your particular VS Code and just click on go live. Don't run it using normal copy path, just use live server. All set, guys, everyone? Please tell me all set. Okay. So now let me make you understand this once again. So what's happening here is you're calling this API. Okay. If this API works, then what? If it doesn't work, then simply catch. Now in this case, it is working. So then it gets a response. But the response was like very crude. It was having a lot of things like status and everything. So what I said, fine. Return response.json. What it does is it extracts the data for me, leaves everything else and simply extracts the data for me. Okay. And again, if it is getting extracted, then what? then a function will be called and the data will be available as a parameter. Now I'm printing console.log my data, and you can see I have my data here with all the articles. So right now it is giving me 20 articles by default. So guys, we actually got our data. Everyone, we got an array of 20 data. All set. Now we just need to use this array to, we're going to loop through this array and display all the news that we have. We're going to generate these cards depending on this array of news. Okay guys, can we move ahead? Everyone, can we move ahead guys? All set till now? All set? Okay. Now then we have our data here, and now here we're going to write the logic to generate the cards. So first of all, let's store that data. So let articles equals data dot articles, because it is coming in articles property. And also let me just keep it printed so that I can show you at any point of time. So console.log data. Okay. Now see, data was like this. See, inside data you have few things: status, one property; total results, one property; and articles, one property, in which we actually have our articles. So in this case, what are we doing? Store the data.articles in a variable called articles. That's all. And now inside this articles, we should only have all the articles that are coming. So let's also print it and see once. So console.log the articles, and let's see. And here we go. Now we're directly getting the articles. Good evening, Pratiksha. Good evening. Good evening. How are you? Good evening. Okay, so guys, understood everyone? So data was coming. Data was having few things like status, articles property, in which we have the array. So I said I am only interested in articles. So just give me the data.articles. So data is an object in which all my data is. So inside data there is a property called as articles, which is holding the array of articles. So I said store the data.articles, the whole array, inside a variable called articles. So now the array of all the articles is stored inside this. Now let's read what we have inside a single article. So see, it's an array. So we have everything from 0th index, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see. Please repeat from line 8. This one. See again, let me just show you one more thing. Data is the object, right? See, this data was an object, right? It was having three things, three properties: articles, status, and total results. What do we need from this? What do we need from this? We need this articles, right? And it's a property of that object. What is an object? It's a collection of properties, right? So this data is simply this object that we are getting. From that object, we are not interested in status. We are not interested in total results. We are only interested in this articles. So basically, see, I want this data.articles. See now, it gives me the whole array of object. And what I do is, I simply store it somewhere. So I store it in a variable called as articles, or let's not call it articles, let's call it news. Fine, so that there's no confusion. So inside a variable called news, I'm storing the whole articles collection, the whole articles array that is coming from the server. So now I have stored it inside news. Let me just print the news. It is going to be the same thing, nothing else. So here we go, news, same thing, nothing else. Now what I actually need to do is I need to loop through this array. Okay, and I need to generate all my news cards. So guys, are we ready? Can we move ahead? I need to loop through this array and I need to generate my cards. Ready everyone? We know, right? In the last project also we did this. In the last project also we created an array of sticky notes and then we looped through it to generate all the sticky notes. Just like that, we are again going to loop through this array and generate news cards. Okay, so if you're also watching it from the last project, this is what we have already done. So we have a news array. We're going to loop through it and generate our news cards. Okay, let's go. So then news dot for each, okay, a function, and then a single news will be available here. So let me call it n, and the index will be also available. So let me call it index. It doesn't matter. We are not even going to use it. And now then inside this n, a single news will be available, right? Let me just keep it printed. Why did I remove it? So console.log news, so that we can see the properties, right, properly. See now. Now this for each loop will go one by one through every element. That means first it will go on this object, 0th index, then on the first index, then on the second index, go one by one, and every object will be available inside this n. I'm simply again explaining this for all the new people. For the people who are following me like from the last stream, they might be already knowing this, what this for each does, right? So news, that is this whole array, dot for each, that means for each element. Okay, so it will go to every element one by one, and for every element it will call this function, and that particular element which my for each is on currently, that element will be available inside this n. So this object one by one will be available inside this n, and now I simply need to generate card based on that. Okay, so let me just see what are the properties that we have. So we have author, we have content, we have description, publish that, so we also have a date that we should display, why not? Then we have a title, and see, we also have a source in which from where this thing is coming, it's there. We also have the URL and URL to image, which will give us the image. So let's use all of this one by one. Let's use all of this one by one. See guys, author, content, description, publish that. We are not using it yet, but we'll create a section for that as well. Then title of the news, URL to image, which will give us the image of that article, and URL, which is basically the actual URL of that news. So we'll click on the button and we'll send the person to this particular URL if they want to read it. Okay. So now let's use all of this. So first of all, time to generate. Now see guys, again, adding dynamic elements to my DOM. How do we do it? We know it. We also did it in the last session. So now we need to generate this news card completely by using what? Guys, by using JavaScript. So let's generate a news card like this. So the first thing I need is what? Everyone. The first thing I need is a div, right? So let's do it step by step. Let news card equals document dot create element div, right? So first I create this div. See this one. Now what else I want to do? I want to give it a class of news card. So guys, how do we do that? News card dot class list dot add this class to it. So now by writing these two lines, I have actually generated what? This div. Correct everyone? Guys, all cleared? Now I need to generate this div. Okay, so let's generate that, and the class is news img. So let's do it. Let's call it news img equals again document dot create element, again one more div, and I need to give it a class of news img. So news img, the element dot class list dot add, and don't worry guys, someday we will do it. Someday we will do this app in React as well. Once I do a React fundamentals on one stream, after that we'll also create the same project in React, and there it might look, it will work a little more easier way. It will work in a little more easier way, because to do these things, adding dynamic elements and all that, it's much more easier in React than in plain JavaScript. But React also does the same thing internally. It is just for you it becomes easier, but internally React is also doing the exact same thing, creating elements. So we are actually doing the real thing. Okay. In React it will become much more easier, but React is internally also creating elements like this only, adding classes like that only. Okay, but we'll do that someday as well. Core JavaScript is always important. To understand React, to understand Angular, to understand Vue, to understand anything, we need to understand JavaScript. So if you understand this, React will be much more easier for you. Okay, so now we have also created this div, that is, could you please close the Explorer? Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Shai, for informing me that. Yeah. So now I have created this div. Now inside that div, I need to create this image. Okay, so let's go. So let's call it img. So let img equals document dot create element. I need to create a image tag, and to that I'm going to add a src. So image dot set attribute, I need to give it a src, and see, In src, I need to pass the image source, right? And now in this case, I'm getting my image source inside this n. What is the property name, guys? The property name of the image source is URL to image. So the value is n dot URL to image. Now I need to put this image inside this div. So we know what to do, right? News img dot append child and what? img, and that's it. Good evening, buddy. Good evening, technical trading. Hello, how are you? So guys, are we clear till now? So first we create this div, then inside that we create this div. Okay, so first I create this div, add a class of news card, then I create the next div, add a class of news img, that means this one. Okay, then inside that I create an image tag. So I create an image tag first. So you can see that I create an image tag, I give it a src of whatever that article is, and then I add that image tag into this news img div. All set, guys? Now then, see, it's big. Don't worry, it is big, I know, but you have to go with a proper reference. So we are going one by one. It's not tough. It will just become lengthy because we have more elements, and we can't do anything about it. It's just we have more elements. That's why it will go bigger, but that's fine. So understand, guys, step by step. First we create this, then I create this, then I create this, and then I add this inside this particular div. Now let's create this one, news details. Okay, let me actually comment it like this is news card div. This is news img div. This is the article img, and then this is the line that is doing adding image in news img div. So these comments will help you to read it properly. So now we have done till this much. Now we need to create this div, that is news details. Okay, so let's do it. News details div. Okay, again same thing. So let's call it let news details equals, again, document dot create element news underscore details. Okay, so I create this div now, that is news details, and I need to add a class of news details to that. So let's add this class, news details dot class list dot add this class, please. Okay, all set. That means now I have also created this div. Now see, inside that I need to create a h1, I need to create a p, I need to create one more p, and I need to create a button. So all of this, 4 more elements. Let's quickly create them. Let's also give it a class of title so that there will be something to understand easily. I'm just giving it a class of title, that's all. So one h1 for title, one p for author, one p for content, one button for read full article. Let's go, guys, let's do it. Last few things. So first the title. So title h1. Okay, so again let title equals, sorry, document dot create element, what's that, h1. Okay, and then after that title dot class list dot add title. That's it. And after that the author p. So let's write author p. So let author equals document dot create element author, and same thing, give it a class author dot class list dot add same author. Done with this. Then also which one should be named div, right? Oh yes, here it should be p. So sorry, here it should be p, and yes, that's a mistake. Yes, I forgot, that was a mistake. Thank you so much, Chai, for reminding me that. I thought actually I was giving a class name. Yep, thank you so much. Now this will be which one? After author, what do we have? Content. Okay, so let's do it. let content equals document dot create element p again and give it a class. So content dot class list dot add, what was the class? Content only. And finally the button. So let's do it. Okay, and let me also mention here, this is the content p. And now then let's move ahead with the last thing, that was the button. So let's quickly create it. So button for reading, let's write it read. So let button equals document dot create element. We're going to create a button and we're going to give it a class as well. So button dot class list dot add, what is the class that we wanted to give to the button? btn. So yes, this is the class I want to give, btn. Now we need to add content in them, right? We need to add content in them. In title I need to add the title. In author I need to add the author. In content I need to add the content, and we have everything. We have everything. So let's take one and let's add it. So it will be very simple, guys, no need to worry. So now in title I need to append the title. So title dot append. So for appending text, guys, if you want to append the text, just use append. Okay, so append, and then I want to append the text. So the text is n dot title, which is basically this. Okay, now I need to insert the author in the author p. So author dot append what? N dot author. Then what, guys? Next thing is I need to append what? Description will be fine, I filled. How much, what is the size of description? I think it's quite enough. Yeah, let's add the description in this content area. So content dot append. So basically I'm just adding the content. Okay, so content dot append n dot description. So sorry, description. And finally to the button, nothing, just a normal text, read full article, right? So it's totally up to us. Button dot append read full article. And now see, just like we have this title, author, content, button inside news details, just like that we also have to put this title, author, content, button inside this news details. So let's do that quickly. So adding content in news details. So then news details dot append child. So when you're adding an element, use append child. When you're adding only text, use append. Okay, that's what you can do. So append child, what? First I need to append title, this one. So let's quickly do it. Title, and then again news details dot append what, guys? What is the next thing? News details dot append author. Then what else? News details dot append description. Oh, sorry, content. We're calling it content, right? In which the description is displayed. And then finally button. So let's also do that. And yes, I'm using append. So sorry, I need to use append child there. So let's go append child. That is button. And finally now, that means I have prepared this one. I have prepared this one. Now I need to add news img and news details inside this news. Where is age? Age? What age, Lalit? There's no property called age, right? Have I wrote somewhere by mistake? Images, we added the images here, right? We added the image here, see, in this img. We added it to the src, right? Right? Okay, now guys, see. Now, this news img that I have created, in which I have put the image, and this news details that I have created, in which I put title, author, content, and button, I need to pick these news img and this news details and put it inside news card. Final logic. Okay, so see, news img is created, and news details is created, and I need to put it inside news card. So let's go. Finally, adding news img and news details to card. So for that, news card dot append child, so sorry, news img first, and again news card dot append child news details, and yep, that should be it. Now this will generate all the news that I want. So guys, are we cleared up with all this code that we have written here? It looks big, I know, but if you read it, it's nothing. It looks big, but if you read it properly, it's nothing. What we did here, see, now if I want to create this, what is the process? First I create a div, then I give it a class. Then inside that I create a div, I give it a class. Then inside that I create an image, I give it a source. Just like that, I create a div, I give it a class. I create one more div, I give it a class. I create an image element, I give it a source. Then I put that image element inside this news img div. Then I create news details, that is basically this div. Then I give it a class. Then I create title, which is basically this one. Then I create author, content, button, all that one by one. I give all of them classes. I give all of them content, title, author, whatever I'm getting inside this an object. That is basically this object. Whatever I'm getting, I put it properly, and then finally I add the last two, news img and news details. That means this div and this div inside news card. So that's the whole process, guys, and after that we have actually prepared this whole thing, news card, using JavaScript. So now let's remove this news card. We don't need it anymore. Remove it. Removal means only comment for now. We don't know what will happen, so comment it. And now I need to add that thing inside this section. So give it an ID of news. So whatever card I'm generating, I need to add that card inside this news section. So let's go. Document dot get element by ID news dot append child news card, and that's it. Now this loop will run. For every element, this whole thing will be generated, and it will be added inside this news section. That is this one. Now let's see if it is actually happening. Let's see if all the 20 articles are getting added in my page. And here you can see actually they are all here. But the titles are so big, they are going like this. See, the titles are so big. But can you see everyone? All the articles are going like this. See? Now I feel that we should put two in one line. That will be much more better, right? So let's do that. Let's go in CSS. Instead of giving it 32, let's give it 44, something like that. Yes, much more better, right? Two articles in one line. But we still have a little gap left. Okay, 44, let's give it 45. Why I'm giving 45? Let's give it 58. No, not 58, sorry. 48. Or 49. Yep, and that's it. Much more better, right? Two news in one line. Much more clearer and much more better. See, some images are not loaded. That's fine. No need to worry about that. It is coming from an API. We are not responsible for that. That's fine. See, now we have all the articles, guys. Is it cleared, guys? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared with this? All set. All cleared. Guys, the second part of our app is done. First part was design. Second part was integrating a real data inside this. Now we need to create the search and filter option. So we need to select country, we need to select category, and when I click on this news area should update with the news that I am trying to fetch. Right now it's by default what? India and politics. We know that, right? By default, it's India and politics. You know that. See, by default, it is India and politics. See, India and what do you say? Sorry, India and business. So sorry, India and business. Now I need to change it with whatever I select, and depending on that, it should change. So now the first thing that I want to do is I want to put it as a function. Now this thing will become a function here. I want this thing to become a function. Okay, this thing. So let's call it a function. Let's get a function for it. Function get news, like that. And let's put the whole fetch code. Let's put this whole fetch code. Okay, why do I have this much gaps? Remove these gaps, we don't need it. Remove this. And now let's take this whole fetch code and put it inside the function. That means this thing will not work by default. It is inside a function like this. Okay, now that's much more cooler, so that we can reuse this code again and again. So I put it inside a function. That's it. Okay, you'll definitely be Prince Yono. Don't worry about that. You'll definitely be. You'll actually be better than me in some time. So just keep watching, just keep learning. I'll try to give all my best to you guys, and just keep learning, and you guys will be better than me in some time. Okay. So now I put all my code inside a function. That means it will not be called by default. Now I need to call that function. So then now let's call that function. But why I create a function? So that I can call it as many times as I want. I can call it wherever I want. That's why I created a function for it. Now see, now it works. Okay. Thank you so much, Blade. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you're liking it. Okay, everyone. All set, guys? So I put all my code inside a function. Why? There is a simple reason that first thing, so that I can call it as many times as I want, so that I can reuse the same code again and again. And if needed, I can call it wherever I want. That's why I put all my code inside a function. And now you'll see the benefits. Now then, let's go ahead and let's start with this part. Okay. So first of all, we need to understand how to read these fields. We need to get the values of these fields, right? So that when someone clicks on get news, we can perform the changes. So guys, let's do that. Let's get a function called as, what should we call it? Search, right? Let's call it search. Let's call it search. And inside this, I'm going to read those fields. So let's go. Now see, now we don't need this commenting thing, right? I'm just keeping it, guys, so that you can also refer this. Okay. I'm just keeping this code, this commented code in here, so that you can refer this and understand what I have written here. Okay, so now I'm just keeping that comment here because I'll share this code on GitHub after this session. Okay, now let me give these to an ID. So you have an ID of country and you will have a ID of category, these two selection fields. And to this button, on your click, I'm going to call this function called as search that I'm creating. So on click of that button, I'm going to call this search function. So when I click on the button, search function will be called, and inside the search function, I'm going to read the value for the country and for the category. That's why I have given them ID. Okay. Now let's read the value. So first of all, let country equals document dot get element by ID. Country, that is nothing but what, guys? This document dot get element by country will give me this select element, and I need a value from it. I need the value of it, whatever the user has selected. So dot value. That's it. Not area value max, only value. Okay, and that will be stored in country. And just like that, let category equals document dot get element by ID category dot value. So maybe you should reduce the width of the image. I think is not showing well. I mean, it should position it. Yes, I understand that, so that we can see it fully, right? See, in this case, we have done overflow hidden. I think that is why it's happening like this. But yeah, we can do it. Why not? We can actually, but in that case, the image height will become very small. That's something I don't want. That's why I'm doing this. Otherwise, we would have used a background image as well. You can do that. Why not? So when you make it, actually, you can do that. Right, so that's complete, like that's complete freedom. Right now I've just given height 100%. You can actually adjust this complete image in center. But right now, at least for reference, it's good. It looks like referring. See, we are referring it, so it is fine. All the images are like not completely fitting, but it's fine. But once you use it, you can alter the width, alter the height, and change the background position to make it look better. Obviously, you can do that. So first of all, let's focus on search. And if we have time, we'll also do this. Don't worry, I'll just adjust the images as well. Okay, Blade? Now then, guys, let's see if we are getting both the values. So log them, console.log country and category. Guys, please focus, everyone. Please focus on what I'm doing. Please focus. Inspect. Now let's see. Let's select USA. Let's select politics. Here we go. US politics. We get the value right. Let's select India. Let's select technology. Here we go. IN technology. So we are getting the value of both the fields. So we fetch the field's value, we store it in a variable. We fetch the field category field's value, we store it in a variable. I'm simply printing it. But I don't want to print it. Now I want to pass these two values, country and category, in here, so that this data can be changed. Are you understanding, guys, what I want to do? I need to pass this value there. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Okay, can we go ahead, guys? Can we do it, everyone? So now let's make this function like that. So let's say I'm telling this function that here I'm making it fixed, right? If I write IN here and category business here, I'm making it fixed that you will always fetch for India and business. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this function that now you'll have two parameters. Now you'll have two parameters like country and category. And instead of IN directly here, I'm going to pass country, which is coming as a parameter. And instead of category directly business, you can also use template littles here. That's fine. You can also use templating here. That will be fine. I'm going to pass category. That means now you will not only fetch for India and business. You will fetch for whatever comes as a parameter to the function. So now whoever calls this function get news, he has to pass, the user has to pass a country name and a category name. And those things will be substituted here, and for that the data will be fetched. Now see, for now, nothing is there. Because see, now this function requires two parameters, country and category. And when I'm calling it, I'm not passing any single of it, anything. So let's pass it. So by default, I'm passing IN and business. That means by default, when I'm calling get news, I'm passing two things, IN and business. Okay, this IN and business will go in country and category respectively, and it will fetch for country IN, category business. Let's see if it is working. Here we go. Again working, all set. Same news. That means it's perfectly working. But now the best part is now whenever I call this function or wherever I call this, now it's up to me which country I want to pass and which category I want to pass. So I simply made my function reusable by use of parameters. That means now I can go here. So when someone calls this function, I can call this get news function. That means now see, if I click on this button, the search function will be called. As soon as the search function is called, it will read the values of two fields. It will read the value of two fields and it will simply call get news, in which the value of the two fields will be passed. So first I'm passing country and second I'm passing category. And that's it. That's it, guys. That's all. That is all. That's all. Let's see if it is working. Let's see. So right now, see, by default we have this around 20 news. The last news is this Wall Street ends lower. Now let's go. Let's search for US and category business, get news. Right now there was no update here. Don't worry. Let's go down and see. See, new things have been added. After this Wall, new things have been added. So basically what's happening right now is the old news is still there and the new news is getting added. I don't want this. I want the old news to be cleared. So for that, we are simply going to go to this function and I'm going to tell it, whenever you get called, just do one thing. Before putting everything, just clear this news div up. Just clear this news section once. So for that, document.getElementById news, the whole section dot inner HTML equals to blank. Just make it blank. That's all. Just remove all the inner HTML, make it blank. So every time you get called, first thing you should do is get this new section and make its inner HTML blank. That means everything that was inside it, remove it. Everything that was inside it, remove it, and after that, start adding. After that, fetch will work, loop will work, and all these elements will be added. Let's see. So now, by default, it's this India, technology. Here we go. All the news related to technology in India. Select for, let's say, USA, technology, but USA. Here we go. Is it cleared, everyone? Yes, Blade, it was appending. Because already 20 news was there, and when you call this function again, it was doing what? It was again running the loop and again appending everything. So the new news was appending below the old news because it is working like that. First 20 news was there. Then once you fetch new news, this loop again runs and starts appending everything. Now, whenever you call get news, the first thing that will happen is we'll clear out the old news. So to clear out the old news, we are doing this. As soon as I get new news, as soon as this function gets called, I clear out the old news, and then again the fetch is called, the new news is fetched, the for each runs, and all the new appending happens. So here we go. All the tech news from USA. If I select Australia, get news, and here we go. Okay, there's nothing available for Australia in tech news. I don't know why. USA politics. Here we go. Is it clear, everyone? Guys, all set? Let's see only politics. Okay, now this is one problem. Okay, here we go. We get only for politics now from all around the world. So if you don't select anything in country and if you only write politics, it fetches for politics no matter from what. No matter from where it selects, it fetches for politics. Is it only for politics? I don't think. Yes, I can see Putin here, so I think it is related to politics. But yeah, now it is fetching from all around the world because there is no country specified, right? See, some are coming, I don't know which language is this, might be Korean or Chinese. So it's coming from all around the world, and that's amazing, right? Because I only said I give me politics, no country, give me politics. So from all around the world. Amazing, right? India politics, then only got India politics. See, all politicians, right? So all set, all cool, all good. So yep, here we go, guys. Almost, it's actually done actually. It's done, not almost, it's actually done. The news app is completed. Now anyone can come here. And now the last part is when they click on this button, I actually want them to go to the real article. So that they can read it properly, right? So we need to do that. And for that, I need to create an anchor tag. Because see, in my object list, I have a link. See that? Don't worry about this fail to load, guys. It is because of the image that is not getting loaded. That is that error. See, some images are not getting loaded, right? Some images are not getting loaded. So just for that, you get this error. See, this image is not getting loaded. So just for this, you're getting this error. So no need to worry about that. For some images that are not getting loaded, you have this error. No need to worry. Now see, guys, you have this URL. We can also display ads to make some income. Why not? Why not? Create it perfectly. Now see, I only gave two filters, category and country. Give more filters. Give it, if someone wants to find news related Tesla or Microsoft, give that filter. Add 5 to 6 more filters. You will have a complete news app. And then you can launch it. Why not? If people want to use it, they will definitely use it. Yes, Blade, you can do that and put ads for income. Why not? So whenever they click on read article, before going on to the article, display an ad and then close that ad and go to the article. Right? Why not? Now then, guys, when they click on this read full article button, I want them to go to this URL. That's what I want. I want them to go to this URL, and for that, I'm simply going to add a tag, anchor tag. It's because a link. So let's do it. I want to add that a tag on my button. So let's do that. Or should I directly do it here? What do you guys say? Okay, let's add a tag for now. Let's not make it confusing. So now I'm adding on one more parent on my button, that is an anchor tag. So let link equals document dot create element a tag, and then no class for this. That's totally fine. And I only need one attribute, that is link dot set attribute href, and this href I'm going to pass that value n dot url. And now inside this link I want to add this button. So now adding button in link. So now link dot append child, the button that you have created. That means now button will not get added. See, now I add button in link. So basically now button will not get added in my news details. This link will get added. Understood, guys? Because now button is going in link and link in going in details. That means I did something like this. On top of this button, I added a tag. This is what I did now. That means now button is not inside news details. Button is inside A and A is inside news details. That's why I did this. I created a link. Okay, here we go. I created a link, and then inside that link I added a button, and that link is added to news detail. Now let's see, and see that links href attribute, that A tags href is holding the URL. And now let's see. Let's click and let's see if we go to that article, guys. And here we go. See that? We go to the original article where the person can read the full news. Something like that. See. Now some links will not load. We cannot do anything about that. It's totally depending on the website, whatever it is. Okay, see, some links open fast, some links open slow. But fine, that's not our matter in this case. And also see, guys, right now what is happening is when I click, it opens in the same tab. What if I don't want that? I want to open it in a different tab. So I need to add one more attribute to link. Link dot set attribute target. That means I'm doing this. In my A tag, I'm adding an attribute called as target equals, and value will be blank, which will help me to open it in a new page. Target blank. So let's go. Target, and the value will be blank. And let's see now if it is working. Let's hope for the best. Let's click, and here we go on new tab. My old tab is still there and perfectly intact. Is it cleared, guys? Everyone, all set, all done. Guys, if someone use this API, that guy will get same data or new data. Brown for today, they might get the same data because this is today's news, right? Tomorrow you'll get a different data. Day after tomorrow you'll get a different data. Every day you'll get a different data because this news is for this date. Current news. This is current news. Tomorrow you'll get a different data. So if you use right now, you'll get the same data. But if you use it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 1 month, after 3 months, you'll also get different data. Because if we are using same API, we'll get the same data for that particular day. But yes, if you use it tomorrow, you definitely get a different data, different news. Because every day the news gets updated, right, Brown? So that's the case. Okay, everyone. Blank or blank are different? No, they are same. Normally, I put blank, but you can also put blank or underscore blank. That's totally fine. Is it clear? Okay, everyone, all set. Now, I have something that you should do. I want something that you should do. For example, see in this case, set out, what if we want the main new to display on our web instead of taking us the sources? Set it out, what if we want the main news to display on our web instead of taking us to sources? Okay, the main article. You can do that. Why not? You have this data, right? See, you have this whole data here. See this. Content. In this content, you have the whole data. So create a block. When someone clicks on the button, create a block. Inside that block, display this content. You have that data. The only thing we need here, Blade, is the data. You have that data in the content. The whole data that they have, you have it in the content. So you can display that content. But the only problem is, then you have to do that the whole adjustment part, right? Properly displaying it paragraph by paragraph and all that stuff. So it's better to go on a real article because that's their article, right? So it's always better to go on a real article. But if you want to display it, you can do this. But then you have to also give credits properly so that, because it's not your news, right? You're not working for it. You're simply calling an API. So give credits that this news is coming from this particular place or something like that. That is something you should do. Otherwise, just go on the correct article. That will also be fine. Okay, guys, all set, all cleared. Now, there is one thing that I want you guys to update in this project. Let's see. When I did Australia, and politics, I got nothing, right? So when you get nothing, I want you guys to display not found here. Just display no news found for this category. That's one update I want you guys to do. That's one update I want you guys to do. Is it clear, everyone? So if you search something and there's nothing for that, I want you guys to display a not found text here. That's one update I want you guys to do. Just update it. Just create that project if you can. Update this logic, put it on GitHub, and you can share it on more, like in the Telegram group that I have on my channel. So if you just go to my channel description, there you can actually see the Telegram link. Join the Telegram link from there, and you can just give me that GitHub link there. Or my Instagram link name is also in my channel description. You can go there and just put it there. So if any news is not found, I want you guys to display 404, not 404 in this case, because I just want you guys to put not found. Data not found for this country and category. That's all. And create it, upload it on GitHub, and then just either my Telegram link and Instagram link, both are there in my channel description. Just go there, and also it is in the video description. So just go there, join that group, guys, because see, first of all, if you join the Telegram group, I update all my live streams, whatever is upcoming, whatever topics I'm coming with, whatever videos I'm going to upload. I put all my posts there. So if you join that Telegram group, that will be very helpful for you, because before launching a video or before doing a live stream, I always update what I'm going to do there. You can also ask me your questions there. So my Instagram link and Telegram link is in the description of this video, is in channel description. You can go ahead and you can then submit your projects, tag me, display your projects anywhere. You can tag me if you want, and you can also talk to me on Instagram or Telegram. It's totally up to you. But you'll be connected then, because I post all my updates of upcoming videos and live streams there. So this is one thing that I want to do. And now this project, in the next 1 and 2 hours, it will also be available on GitHub. Okay, so I'll share the link of the GitHub as well, like in the Telegram group only. So you guys can get that in this. And yes, I'll also update the video description. I'll update the video description with the new GitHub link. So in the next 2 hours, this project will be uploaded on GitHub, and I'll update the GitHub link in the video description. So you can get it from there also if you want. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's all for this project. I hope you guys understood everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the project, everyone. Please let me in the chat, guys. I hope you guys understood. I hope you learned something new in JavaScript. And for all the people who already knew JavaScript, I hope you found how to make it useful, how to make the JavaScript that you know useful by making these things. So I hope you understood, guys. Please let me know in the chat. And for all the new people, whoever are new, please subscribe the channel and like the stream. And please, after completing this stream, just put a comment if you can of whatever you have learned from here, or if you like it or not, so that first of all, I will also get to know if my streams are good and what do you say, improvements I should do, and also so that it can reach to multiple people, more people, so that they can also learn. So please subscribe the channel if you're new, like the stream, and share the channel with your friends and fellow colleagues, or maybe fellow students if you're in a college, so that they can also get access to the channel and learn things from here. Okay, that's it, guys. That's all, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe, like, and please comment whatever you feel about this session. If you like it, what you learned from here, if you have any problems, just put in the comment, because I read every comment that is there. So I will see. And also you can suggest me some new things that you want to see. So see, guys, now our next live stream will be on next Saturday. So if you want, see, I'm planning something for it, but if you want something from your side, sir, please make this or make that, just also put that in comment so that I can also make that. Okay, so put your suggestions, reviews, feedbacks, what you like or not, anything in the comment section. Okay, and everything will be available in the description after some time, the GitHub link and everything. So please subscribe, give my channel to your friends so that they can also have it. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really enjoyed my time with you. Now I'll meet you next Saturday with a new project. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next session, that is on next Saturday, the next live stream actually. Okay, so bye-bye, everyone.